Imagine being so famous that celebrities not only recognized you, but actively begged just to sit at one of your overpriced, overhyped tables. Flash forward just a few years, and you're being publicly kicked out of football finals, your staff are suing you for shady labor practices, and your golden restaurants? They're graveyards. This isn't just a fall from grace, this is a full-on crash landing, complete with fire, lawsuits, and an audience that finally stopped clapping. And Salt Bae? He's the pilot who forgot how to fly and somehow thinks he's still in first class. Salt Bae got rejected from the Champions League final. He wasn't invited, he wasn't welcome. Before the tuxedos and tacky gold tomahawks, Nusret Gökçe was just another Turkish butcher trying to stand out in a crowded culinary world. What changed everything? A single dramatic flourish, sprinkling salt down his bent elbow with the flair of a stage magician. In 2017, the internet noticed, hard, that one clip? Viral gold? He became an overnight icon. Suddenly, he wasn't just seasoning steak, he was seasoning global pop culture. It was meme alchemy. Salt Bae was born, Instagram followers poured in by the millions, celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, David Beckham, and DJ Khaled lined up to be seen at his restaurants. It wasn't about the food anymore, it was about the moment, the sprinkle, the selfie, the status. He expanded rapidly. Dubai, London, Miami, New York. Restaurants opened like wildfire. But what they served wasn't just steak, it was spectacle wrapped in gold leaf. A place where influencers could flex and billionaires could pretend they were in on the trend. Salt Bae went from being one of the biggest internet memes and having every A-list celebrity come to his restaurants. But there was one fatal flaw. Meme fame is fleeting. It fades. And instead of adapting, Salt Bae doubled down on the theatrics. He didn't realize that while his followers were growing, their patience was thinning. He was banking on being viral forever. But in internet time, forever barely lasts 5 minutes. Fast forward to December 2022, the biggest stage in sports, the FIFA World Cup final. Argentina wins in a historic match. Emotions are raw. Players are crying. Fans are screaming. And in the middle of it all, the confetti, the passion, the moment, walks in Salt Bae. He wasn't on the guest list, he wasn't invited, but that didn't stop him. He strutted past security like he owned the pitch. Then he did the unthinkable. He grabbed Lionel Messi, not gently, not respectfully. He yanked Messi's arm mid-embrace to force a photo op. The soccer legend visibly recoiled, but Salt Bae pushed on, smiling and posing like he had just scored the winning goal. He grabs Messi, yanks his arm and tries to force a selfie, then grabs the actual World Cup trophy. But he didn't stop there. He held the actual World Cup trophy, a symbol reserved for champions, as if it was his own. The moment was so bizarre, so tone-deaf, it instantly went viral for all the wrong reasons. FIFA wasn't amused. They launched an investigation. Salt Bae was officially banned from future events. Social media erupted. For many fans, this was the tipping point. The glitz had faded. Now all they saw was desperation. That was the beginning of the end. The moment Salt Bae went from viral sensation to a punchline. From chef to meme to menace. In response, he claimed innocence, said it was all just a big mix-up.
Why did you go onto the World Cup pitch after the final, touch the World Cup, and kiss the World Cup? What were you thinking?
You know, I love Argentina, I love football. And this is the accident. Before I don't know the rules. Now I know the rules. Next World Cup, I never touch the World Cup. I go to, of course, stadium, see the match, but I never touch again.
But the damage was already done. The brand? Tarnished beyond repair. And Salt Bae? Still posing like the main character in a show, nobody was watching anymore. While his ego soared, his restaurants were free-falling. The numbers don't lie. His London steakhouse lost nearly 50% of its profits. Reviews were brutal, overpriced, underseasoned, and all spectacle, no substance. One customer shelled out $600 for a gold steak and left hungry. One reviewer said, "Service was great, but we were literally the only people in the restaurant." His Boston spot? Shut down for safety violations. Miami? Closed amid scandal. New York? Gone. Even in Dubai, his brand's luxury stronghold, it's a ghost town. The gold leaf? Just Amazon bling worth $10. The reality? Salt Bae wrapped mediocrity in sparkle and sold it as luxury. Eventually, even rich people got tired of being clowned. Salt Bae's biggest sin? Not being cringe? being greedy. He flexed $140,000 dinner bills like badges of honor, gold-covered tomahawks, absurd wine markups, and tips that could fund a college education. One diner even got served a $1,000 gold steak they didn't order. Salt Bae once called the police on a customer who didn't want to pay $1,000 for a gold steak they didn't even order. When they refused to pay, Salt Bae's team called the cops. This isn't fine dining, this is culinary extortion. And customers started to catch on. Behind the gold knives and viral sprinkles, a toxic empire. Former employees painted a chilling picture, passports confiscated, workers publicly humiliated, and tips skimmed by Salt Bae himself. Several former employees accused Salt Bae of skimming 3% of their tips, firing them when they confronted him. Salt Bae finally lost everything. One lawsuit compared him to Tony Montana. He allegedly ruled with a god complex, firing at will, ignoring labor laws, and running restaurants like a dictatorship. He wasn't running restaurants, he was running a steak cult. And then came the fire, literally. In Istanbul, one of Salt Bae's now infamous signature fire shows went horribly wrong. It was meant to be theatrical, a flash of flames to dazzle customers, but instead it turned into a literal disaster. Flames burst out of control. 4 diners were literally set on fire, their clothes ignited, their skin scorched, their celebration turned nightmare. One Russian model suffered third-degree burns on over 35% of her body. Salt Bae finally lost everything. And Salt Bae's team? They didn't issue a public apology. They didn't offer compensation. According to reports, they tried to erase the incident, allegedly destroying security footage, as if torching the evidence would somehow extinguish the outrage. No accountability, no PR control, just silence. A business built on flash and sizzle, now caught in its own flame. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a symptom of a brand too drunk on its own spectacle to realize it was playing with fire, literally and figuratively. There was no pause, no remorse, no learning moment, just steak and spectacle, business as usual. This wasn't a restaurant anymore. It was Final Destination with table service, and Salt Bae, still smiling behind his shades like the human fire alarm wasn't blaring. You might think nearly burning your customers would be the lowest point, but Salt Bae's brand had more free fall in it, and much of it self-inflicted. In 2018, during Venezuela's devastating economic collapse, Salt Bae posted videos of himself serving $1,000 steaks to dictator Nicolas Maduro. While Venezuelan citizens struggled to buy rice and beans, Maduro was living out a Bond villain fantasy, with Salt Bae as his personal butler of luxury. Maduro was being hand-fed $1,000 steaks by Salt Bae like a Bond villain. The optics were catastrophic. Outrage swept across social media. Demonstrators protested outside Salt Bae's Miami restaurant, holding signs, chanting for justice, demanding decency. The message was clear. Salt Bae had crossed a line, and just when you thought it couldn't get worse, he made another blunder, in what might be one of the most historically tone-deaf moves in modern hospitality. Salt Bae posted a glowing tribute to Fidel Castro right before opening his Miami location, a city with one of the largest Cuban exile communities in the world. You can't do the bare minimum of a Google search on Cuban politics before your big launch. It's not just tone deaf, it's breathtakingly reckless. At this point, Salt Bae wasn't just out of touch, he was living in another universe. Despite the chaos, Salt Bae still acts like nothing's changed. His Instagram is a never-ending stream of choreographed elegance. Slicing meat in slow motion, dancing with gold knives, staring into the sunset from designer rooftops like he's narrating a cologne commercial. To the untrained eye, maybe he still looks like the king of culinary bling, but scroll through the comments and it becomes glaringly clear. No one's buying it anymore. What once was aspirational is now just embarrassing. The illusion is gone. No one's clapping, no one's impressed. His social media growth, frozen. Engagement, down more than 70%. Restaurants that were once booked out months in advance now sit half empty, or worse, permanently closed. The empire that was built on viral clips and golden gimmicks is crumbling. Steak by overpriced steak. He didn't just become a meme, he became the ghost of a meme. A parody of himself, stuck in a loop, still sprinkling salt like it matters. Long after the applause has stopped, long after the internet moved on, he keeps performing, but now nobody's watching.